Bismillahirrahmanirrahim wa sallallahu ala nabiyyil kareem Muhammadin wa alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. So you were talking about Raf'ul Yadain or raising hands. So as we mentioned before, that according to Abu Hanifa and Malik rahimahumullah, raising hand is sunnah only in the start and beginning of prayer, and there is no such like practice in any other place of prayer. And then we mentioned there that Imam Shafi and Ahmad ibn Hanbal rahimahumullah, their actual mazhab is that raising hands is sunnah in the start of prayer, and that is recommended when somebody is going to ruku and coming back from ruku. So going to ruku, he has to raise hands, and coming back he has to raise hands. This is the mazhab. But some Shawafi or followers of Imam Shafi, they are of the view that standing to third rakat in such a prayer which has 3 or 4 rakat, so standing to third one, this is also sunnah to raise hands, or this is recommended. Then we started referring to a hadith where there is only raising hands in the beginning of the prayer. So the first hadith in this regard was the hadith narrated by Imam Tirmizi, Imam Nisai and Imam Abu Dawood from Alqama radiyallahu ta'ala an, that Alqama said, Abdullah ibn Masud radiyallahu ta'ala an, he said to his students, Ala usalli bikum salata Rasulillah, should I not show you how Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam was praying? So he mentioned there that Abdullah ibn Masud radiyallahu ta'ala an, فَلَمْ يَرْفَعْ يَدَيْهِ إِلَّا مَرَّةً وَاحِدًا, he raised his hands only once in the beginning and not in any other place. So actually Abdullah ibn Masud, he was not showing or teaching his own prayer, but he mentioned in the very beginning, Ala usalli bikum salata Rasulillah, should I not pray in front of you the prayer of the Messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And in this regard we mentioned that Abdullah ibn Mubarak rahmatullahi alayh, he has a jarha. Jarha mean he has a little bit criticism about the hadith of Abdullah ibn Masud radiyallahu ta'ala an. And when Abdullah ibn Mubarak, he raises a red flag, so it means that there is a danger. Because Ibn Mubarak is Amirul Mu'mineen fil hadith. But later on, we mentioned there that Imam Tirmizi in his detail, he mentioned the jarh or criticism of Abdullah ibn Mubarak in such a way that his criticism was related to al-hadith al-qawli, the wording of Abdullah ibn Masud, not to al-hadith al-fi'li, the practice of Abdullah ibn Masud. He says that فَلَمْ يَرْفَعْ يَدَيْهِ إِلَّا مَرَّةً, that is the practice of Abdullah ibn Masud. There is no criticism or reservation about that practice. But actually, some muhaddiseen, they have narrated from Abdullah ibn Masud that Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not raise his hands but only in the beginning. Only on these words Abdullah ibn Masud has a reservation, that whether Ibn Masud said it or not it. As far as the case of his did it or did not, there is no reservation. He did it. And فَلَمْ يَرْفَعْ يَدَيْهِ إِلَّا مَرَّةً وَاحِدًا. This is hadith number 1. And then we referred to various books of hadith that the same practice of Abdullah ibn Masud is narrated by Abu Ya'la in his Musnad, by Abdul Razak in his Musannaf, by Tahawi in Sharh Maghani al-Asar, by Daraqutni with various narration chain, and by Imam Ibn Abi Shayba in his Musannaf. Yes. Now the second hadith is the hadith of Bara ibn Azib radiyallahu ta'ala an. And as I mentioned before, last Sunday, that look at me, Imam Bukhari, rahmatullahi alayh, he has his own point of view. Yes. Now, this is a case whether Imam Bukhari was a muhaddis or he was a mujtahid. And if he was a mujtahid, he was a mujtahid mutlaq or he was a mujtahid fil mazhab. So this is the case of Imam Bukhari, that he was not mujtahid mutlaq. He was a muhaddis and he was a mujtahid fil mazhab. Mujtahid fil mazhab is that imam who is giving priority to one saying of his imam over another saying. And sometime he picks he picks up the saying of another imam according to circumstances. In At-Tabaqat Ash-Shafi'iyya, it is mentioned that Imam Bukhari, he was not a mujtahid, he was muqallid of Imam Shafi, rahmatullahi alayh. So when he is muqallid, so his nature is like this, he is a strong man. He's what? He is a strong man. So that strong man, he collects and gather together the ahadith, which is the base of the mazhab of his own Imam Shafi, rahmatullahi alayh. He is not selling medicine of another company. Yes, you can say it like this, that he is selling medicine, but only one company, and that company is the company of Imam Shafi, rahmatullahi alayh. So he is selling the medicine, Brother Parvez, made by Right Aid only, not by Kaiser or by any other company. So that, and he has all the right because he is muqallid of Imam Shafi, rahmatullahi alayh. But another thing in Imam Shafi is that he is that much strong that he does not bring any other hadith which is not the base of the madhab of his own imam. Even though he mentioned that I compiled this book of mine which has 4,000 plus ahadith, which has 4,000 plus ahadith, and he says that I have chosen this 4,000 plus ahadith from 400,000 authentic ahadith. That I have in my memory, how many? 400,000 ahadith as-sahiha. But in my book, I have collected only 4,000, because to write down all these 400,000 ahadith, that's a long way to go. So that's why he says that I have chosen only 4,000 plus, not only 4,000, 4,000 plus ahadith from 400,000 al-ahadith as-sahiha. So it means that there are other ahadith, and these ahadith are known to Imam Bukhari, but as he was unable to write down all these ahadith, number one, and number two, he was writing his book of hadith in such a way where he can bring the base and the bunyad or the foundation of the madhab of his own imam, Imam Shafi rahmatullahi alayh. So he mentions only those ahadith. That is number one. Now, other muhaddithin like Imam Muslim, he is Shafi as well. Imam Muslim, he is Shafi as well, but he brings the hadith which are the base of the madhab of other imams as well. Yes, and he brings it like this. But Imam Tirmidhi, he is also a Shafi. Imam Tirmidhi, he is also a Shafi, but his case is totally different. Sometimes he brings a hadith which are the base of the madhab of Imam Abu Hanifa or Imam Malik or Ahmad ibn Hanbal rahimahullah, and sometimes he does not bring those hadiths, but he referred to what? He referred to. So for example, in this regard, he said Babu ma ja'a fi raf'al yadayn. Babu ma ja'a fi raf'al yadayn. That this chapter is related to raising hands in places other than the start of the prayer. So there he mentioned the hadith of Abdullah ibn Umar radiyallahu ta'ala an, which we are proceeding to, and then we will have answers to this hadith. But right after that, Imam Tirmidhi, he has written another chapter, Babu man lam yaqul bi raf'il yadayn, that this is chapter of those who do not say that there is raising hand in any other place, but only in the beginning of prayer. Got it? So there he mentioned the hadith of Bara ibn Azib, which we are going to, and he mentioned wa fil bab an al-Bara ibn Azib, that in this chapter there is a hadith narrated by Bara ibn Azib radiyallahu ta'ala an, wa bihi yaqulu ba'du al-ilm min al-sahabati wa al-tabi'in wa Sufyan al-Sawri wa ahl al-Kufa. And he says that that hadith is the base of the madhab of some sahaba and some tabi'in and Sufyan al-Thawri, and also Ahlul Kufa, the people of Kufa. So in Kufa, some people say that because of that Imam Tirmidhi is very, very mutasallib or strong Shafi, that's why he does not mention the name of Abu Hanifa, rahmatullahi alayhi, and he says Ahlul Kufa is not the case. This negative approach about Imam Tirmidhi, this approach is a negative approach. The positive approach is that in other cities there was well-known Imam, only one or two, so he used to mention the name. But regarding Kufa, Kufa was the center of knowledge. That was the center of ilm. There was Sufyan al-Thawri, there was Sufyan ibn Uyayna, there was Alqama, there was Aswad, there was Ibrahim al-Nakhai, there was Qazi ibn Abi Layla, and there was Abu Hanifa, and there was Hammad ibn Abi Sulaiman. Now to mention all these names, that is a long way to go. So in brief or in a summarized way, he says, وَبِهِ يَقُولُ بَعْضُ أَهْلِ الْعِلْمِ مِنَ الصَّحَابَةِ وَالتَّابِعِينَ وَسُفْيَانَ الثَّوْرِ وَأَهْلُ الْكُوفَةِ. That this is the madhab of some Sahaba, some Tabi'een, of Imam Sufyan Thawri, and the people of Kufa. So by people of Kufa, he means Alqama, Aswad, Ibrahim Nakhai, Hammad ibn Abi Sulaiman, Sufyan ibn Uyayna, Qazi ibn Abi Layla, Imam Abu Yusuf, Imam Abu Hanifa. Got it? So when he refers to, so he said, Ahlul Kufa. He said what? Ahlul Kufa. But anyhow, our Shaykh rahimahullah, he started a book, but he couldn't complete it. Yes. And that book was Kashf al-Niqab, Amma Qala Tirmidhi wa fil Bab. Because in various chapters, Imam Tirmidhi, he refers to hadith and he gives us a list that in this chapter there are other hadiths. I cannot put all hadiths here in this chapter, but he gives us a list that in Bab there are hadiths narrated by Abdullah ibn Masud, by Ibn Abbas, by Abu Huraira, by Bara ibn Azib, and so on. And he says, yes, medicine is there, you have to check it. If not, and write it, go to long drugs. Yes, you can find it there. That medicine is there. He says that the base of the madhab of other imams is there in a hadith, and I have these hadiths, but you have to check it for yourself. Got it? So our Shaykh started to collect those hadiths wa fil Bab. And he named the book Kashf al-Niqab, Amma Qala Tirmidhi wa fil Bab. Yes, discovering or putting up the cover from those hadiths regarding which Imam Tirmidhi used the word wa fil Bab. Got it? Not it or what it? Okay. So anyhow, the hadith of Bara ibn Azib, radiyallahu ta'ala an, that Bara ibn Azib says, you should write it. Imam Abu Dawood narrates, says, you wrote that hadith. Yes. That kana idha iftataha as-salah, rafa'a yadayhi ila qaribin min udhunayhi thumma la ya'ud, rawahu Abu Dawood. Imam Abu Dawood says that Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, whenever he was starting his prayer, he was raising his hands to the level of his lobes. To the level of what? His lobes. Summa la ya'ud. And then he was not repeating the same practice. And he was not repeating, who says it? Bara ibn Azib, radiyallahu ta'ala an. Rawahu Abu Dawood. Hadith is narrated and compiled by other muhaddiseen as well. But in the narration chain of this hadith, there is one Ravi. His name is Yazid ibn Abi Ziyad. His name is what? Yazid ibn Abi Ziyad. Some scholars said that he is da'if, he is weak. But look, as I told you, that weak not in a sense that he was telling lie. Brother Parvez, to tell you one basic thing in hadith, if somebody is blamed for what? For telling lie, only once in lifetime the muhaddithin cross his name. That this guy is not trustworthy. Because once in lifetime he told lie. Yes. Got it? Once in lifetime he told. So we cannot rely upon this guy. We cannot put our trust in this guy. Imam Malik ibn Anas rahmatullahi alayhi said that we used to put our trust. We used to put our trust in someone regarding 1 million dinar. Regarding 1 million dinar. But to put your trust in someone regarding relation of one single hadith, that's very difficult. Because this is the base of deen. This is not a case of wealth. This is not a case of wealth and money. So he said that for the said purpose, yes, we were not believing in putting our trust in so many people. That yes, he is praying day and night. But once in his lifetime, he got stuck and he told lie. He got stuck and he told lie. And once in his lifetime he tried to make words. So they put a mark on him. That okay, he's a good guy, but we are not going to buy any hadith from his store. He's not trustworthy guy. Got it? So regarding Yazid ibn Abi Ziyad, there is no such like objection or reservation that he told lie or his practice was wrong. They said that in his old age, his memory became weak. وَكَانَ يَقْبَلُ التَّلْقِينَ. So sometime, somebody was putting words in his mouth. As you know, this is a terminology which is used in America. Yes? That why you are putting words in my mouth? You want me to say the same words? So they say, his hafiza became weak. So sometimes some people tried to put words in his mouth and he expressed it. So that's why they say that he is zaif. And actually, this reservation is narrated by Imam Sufyan ibn Uyayna. By who? Sufyan ibn Uyayna, one of the mujtahideen of Kufa. It is narrated from Sufyan that I heard this hadith from Yazid ibn Abi Ziyad in Mecca. I heard this hadith from Yazid ibn Abi Ziyad in Mecca. So he did not mention the word summa la ya'udu. Then Prophet ﷺ was not repeating the practice. He was raising hand in the beginning, but then he was not repeating the same practice in his prayer. You know what I'm saying? He said, when I heard him narrating this hadith in Mecca, so these words were not there. Only two words, summa la ya'udu. What? Summa la ya'udu. These words were not there in the narration of Yazid ibn Abi Ziyad when he was there in Mecca. But he says, Sufyan says, when I came to Kufa, and the dars of Yazid ibn Abi Ziyad was going on. He was giving his lecture. He was a muhaddis. So he was giving his dars. So in Kufa he mentioned summa la ya'udu. That Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he raised his hands in the beginning of his prayer, but then he did not repeat that practice in his prayer. Got it? So he said that in Mecca, I didn't hear him that he mentioned this word summa la ya'udu. But in Kufa, he mentioned it. فَظَنَنْتُ أَنَّهُمْ لَقَّنُوهُ. So I thought that the people of Kufa, they put these words in his mouth. You should write it. That is his reservation. Reservation of Sufyan. That I thought that the people of Kufa, they put these words in his mouth. And also, the same riwayah or hadith is narrated by Shu'bah, by Hushaym, Zuhair ibn Muawiyah, Khalid ibn Abdullah, Abdullah ibn Idris, and Sufyan Sawri. These are big names. These are big shots. Whenever the name of any one of them is mentioned, we surrender to, Imam Sufyan Sawri, Shu'bah ibn al-Hajjaj, Hushaym al-Wasiti. Got it? So anyhow, this hadith is narrated by all these Imams from Yazid ibn Abi Ziyad. They are his students. They have not narrated these words, summa la ya'udu. You should write it. That they have not narrated from him these words, summa la ya'udu. And then the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was not repeating the same practice in his prayer. And Imam Bukhari, he put on his remarks regarding this hadith. You should write it. Imam Bukhari, he put on his remarks. He said the authentic riwayat is the riwayat of Sufyan Thawri, Shu'bah, and Ibn Uyayna. Now, from this very speech or taqreer, it is proven that Yazid ibn Abi Ziyad, he is da'if. Yazid ibn Abi Ziyad, he is da'if. So when we say that Yazid ibn Abi Ziyad is da'if, so we cannot make his hadith the base of mazhab. We cannot make his hadith the base of mazhab of Abu Hanifa and Imam Malik, rahimahumullah. But now what is our answer? So you should write the answer. That Yazid ibn Abi Ziyad, he is Qurashi and he is Hashimi. He is Qurashi, he is Hashimi, wala'an. Wala'an means that sometime back he was, or his parents were the slaves of Qurashiyin. His parents were the slaves of whom? Qurashiyin and Hashimiyin, the family of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And they liberated them. And they liberated them. And he is known as Yazid al-Kufi. He is known as Yazid al-Kufi. He is not a weak Ravi. He is not a weak Ravi. Yes, some people, they said about him that in old age his memory became weak. His memory became weak. And some of them said that he was inclined to Shia. You should write it. That he was what? Inclined to Shia. And as you know, that whenever we mention in Ulum Hadith that such and such Ravi, he is either Shia or a Khariji or Mu'tazili. He is either Shia or Khariji or Mu'tazili, then we do not accept his hadith. Then we do not accept. Because when you are affiliated to a specific group, yes, so you will be prejudicial in this regard. So that's why, yes, we put a cross on his hadith. That, yes, he is Shia. Or he is inclined to Shia. He is not Shia, but he is inclined to Shia. Or he was inclined to Mu'tazila or to Khariji. So his hadith will be the base of his own mazhab, but not the base of our mazhab. Got it? So some people said that he was inclined to Shia. You wrote it? But Imam Muslim, rahmatullahi alayh, who? Imam Muslim, he said that he is a truthful person. And he was such a pious person that he never practiced any practice which is against decency and ghera. In his lifetime, he never did anything against decency and ghera. Also Imam Abu Dawood, he verified him. Ibn Hibban says he was a trustworthy person. Ibn Hibban said only one thing about him, that in old age his memory became weak. So whatever he narrated before that weakness, that is authentic. Got it? You should write it. Ibn Hibban. Imam Ibn Hibban. And these are critics. These are not only muhaddiseen. These are what? Critics. We call him Sarraf, who knows the fake and genuine currency. So when we say this is a critic of hadith, so it means that he is Sarraf. He knows that which hadith is genuine and which one is fake. Yes? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them a mechanism in their nature, that whenever somebody mentioned a hadith in front of them, he said, wait. This word, jalasa, that is not in hadith. There's only one word that's not in hadith. That's fake. That's not genuine. Drop it. Yes. That was the case of these. Yes. And they were tested in this regard. Imam Bukhari rahmatullah alayh, he was only 16 years of age. He was only 16 years of age. And people became jealous of him. People became jealous of him. So once some ulama, they gathered together to test him. That Ismail Muhaddis says that, oh, he is a man. He is a nabigha. He is a genius man. He is what? A genius man. His memory is exemplary. His memory is exemplary. So 10 ulama, they gathered together to test him. So every one of them, they narrated 10 hadiths. They narrated 10 hadiths. But what they did, they changed the narration chain of one hadith to another, switched it. They switched it. The text of hadith, but not with the same narration which was known to muhaddiseen. They changed or switched the narration chain of one hadith to another one. So they narrated. Yes. For example, for him, he said, وَبِهِ قَالَ حَدَّثَنَا فُلَانٌ قَالَ حَدَّثَنَا فُلَانٌ قَالَ أَخْبَرَنَا فُلَانٌ عَنْ ابْنِ مَسْعُودٍ قَالَ قَالَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ. And Imam Bukhari was sitting there. That I have taken this hadith from my Shaykh Mr. So-and-so, he from his Shaykh Mr. So-and-so, from his Shaykh Mr. So-and-so, he from Hasan Basri, and Hasan Basri from Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud said the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said like this. But this narration chain was not for that hadith. That was for another hadith. They switched it. For test, they switched it. So he narrated 10, then he narrated 10, then he narrated 10. And whenever any one of them, he was saying a hadith, so Imam Bukhari, he used to say, La a'lam, I don't know. So he narrated another hadith. Imam Bukhari said, La a'lam, I don't know. So then he narrated another hadith. He said, La a'lam, I don't know. So for all these 100 of hadiths, narrated by 10 scholars, yes, 10 by each one, Imam Bukhari said, La a'lam. So they were looking at each other. What's wrong with this guy? He said regarding every single hadith, I don't know. So it means that he does not know anything. He does not know anything. So when they did it, and they stopped. So Imam Bukhari said, Mashayikh, done. Your job is done. They said, of course. Then he started. In the same sequence as they narrated, that the first hadith which you narrated from Shaykh so-and-so, and then from Shaykh so-and-so, this Shaykh has never met that Shaykh in his lifetime. How he is narrating a hadith from him? Yes, and actually that hadith which you was referring to, this Shaykh is narrating this hadith from Mr. so-and-so. Say, and all 100 hadiths, yes, in the same sequence. Not only that he told them about every single hadith in the same sequence. He never did it like this, that you narrated a hadith number 2 and he put it number 1. You narrated a hadith on number 9 and he put it on number 7. Yes, and when he completed, so they kissed his hand, they said sorry. Yes, actually he is a man. Imam Bukhari is a man, rahimahullah. Got it? Because at that time, and that's why it is said that it was not allowed to write down a hadith, but to memorize it. This is wrong. As we mentioned, do you remember? Yes, we spoke about writing and compilation. that these are two things. One is called compilation of hadith, the second one is called writing of hadith. Writing of hadith was going on in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Compilation, it took place later on. Compilation, what type of? Official. Official compilation, it took place in the time of Umar ibn Abdul Aziz radiyallahu ta'ala an. Yes, officially he arranged the compilation of hadith. And who was the first one? Imam Zuhri, yes. Imam Muhammad ibn Muslim ibn Shihab al-Zuhri rahmatullahi alayh. And how the people are twisting. That Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahmatullahi alayh, he said to Muhammad ibn Muslim ibn Shihab that you have to compile the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, otherwise we will lose it, because now the memory of people is not that strong, so maybe we will lose it. So Muhammad ibn Muslim ibn Shihab al-Zuhri, he said that, ya subhanallah, that was the order of Amir, that was the order of Amir, but I don't know why he ordered me. He should have ordered me something else, but not compilation of a hadith. So people twisted the word that Imam Muhammad ibn Muslim was not ready to compile a hadith. Yes, but the Amir, he pushed him and he did it. This is not the case, as it was the case of Zayd ibn Sabit radiyallahu ta'ala regarding compilation of Holy Quran, that when Abu Bakr ordered him, he said, if he would have ordered me, yes, to pick up the mountain of Uhud and take it to Mecca, that was an easy job, but to compile Quran, that's a responsibility. So same was the case of Muhammad ibn Muslim ibn Shihab al-Zuhri rahmatullahi alayh. Also, as we mentioned before, Brother Parvez, that the father of Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, the governor of Misr, Abdul Aziz, the governor of Misr, in the time of Abdul Malik, in the time of whom? Abdul Malik, he ordered Muhammad ibn Muslim ibn Shihab al-Zuhri that write down the ahadith and compile it, except the ahadith of Abu Huraira. Except the hadith of Abu Huraira. So people twisted it, that Abu Huraira was not dependable and reliable. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. That's why he said not the hadith of Abu Huraira. No, he had the compilation of the hadith of Abu Huraira already. He was not in need of that. I have that book. Got it? So that will be a waste of time to write it down once again. Got it, not it or bought it? Yes. So now, what you were saying? Ibn Hibban. And Imam Zahabi should write it. Imam Zahabi, he says that he was a part of knowledge, a big part of, lot of knowledge was there in that part. Also Imam Bukhari narrated a hadith from him. Should write it. He narrated a hadith from Yazid ibn Abi Ziyad. So when Bukhari narrates from someone, it means that he is authentic. Imam Muslim narrated from him. Imam Tirmidhi said that his riwayat are Hasan. His riwayat are Hasan. Yes, the only thing is that Imam Nawawi, Brother Parvez, write it down. Imam Nawawi. Who? Imam Nawawi. He said something about Yazid ibn Abi Ziyad. He said something about Yazid ibn Abi Ziyad. But this is a waham. You should write it. This is a confusion of Imam Nawawi. This is what? A confusion of Imam Nawawi. That he mixed Yazid ibn Abi Ziyad al-Dimashqi with Yazid ibn Abi Ziyad al-Kufi. Fortunately and unfortunately, Yazid was Yazid and father name was Ziyad. And there were two people in this regard. One is called Yazid ibn Ziyad al-Dimashqi and the second one is Yazid ibn Ziyad al-Kufi. So these are two different people. So Imam Nawawi thought of Yazid ibn Abi Ziyad al-Kufi that this is the same Dimashqi. So Dimashqi is not authentic, Kufi is authentic. Also, the wording summa la ya'ud, then Prophet ﷺ did not repeat raising hands but only in the beginning of his prayer. So the only case is the case of this word. The only case is that this is in idafa or adding by Yazid ibn Abi Ziyad. Yes, we were talking about this only one word in hadith, summa la ya'udu. Yes? So you should write it. That these words are narrated by old students of Yazid ibn Abi Ziyad when his memory was okay. They were the student of their time when his memory was okay. And as we were referring to Sufyan ibn Uyayna, that he said that I heard this hadith from Yazid ibn Abi Ziyad in Mecca. So he did not use the word summa la ya'ud. Then he did not repeat. And when I heard this hadith from him in Kufa, then he said summa la ya'ud. And that was his old age. So it means that somebody put these words in his mouth. That was Sufyan ibn. So this is not okay. You should write it. That what has been attributed to Sufyan ibn Uyayna, that is not okay. Because Yazid was born in 47 after Hijrah. He was born in 47 after Hijrah in Kufa. And he passed away in Kufa in 136. He was born in Kufa in 47. And he passed away there in 136. And Ibn Uyayna, he was born in Kufa in 107. Ibn Uyayna was born in Kufa in 107. Then he migrated to Mecca in 163. Then he migrated to Mecca. Should write it. 163. And he passed away there in 198. So it means at the time of the birth of Ibn Uyayna, the age of Yazid ibn Abi Ziyad was 67 years. You should write it. At the time of the birth of Ibn Uyayna, the age of Yazid ibn Abi Ziyad was 67 years. And Ibn Uyayna migrated to Mecca after the death of Yazid ibn Abi Ziyad. You should write it. He migrated to Mecca. After the death of Yazid ibn Abi Ziyad. So if we believe and if we admit that Ibn Uyayna met him in Mecca in the time of Hajj, you should write it. He met him in Mecca in the time of Hajj. So that was the old age of Yazid ibn Abi Ziyad. You should write it. He never met him in his young age. Then hadith number 3. This was hadith of Bara ibn Azib. It means that it is proven. It means it is proven. Hadith number 3. Salim narrates from his father Abdullah ibn Umar. And actually, as I mentioned, look at me later on when we will approach to that hadith. Because for Raf'ul Yadain or raising hand, there are only 2 hadiths. For raising hands at the time of ruku, there are only 2 hadiths. One hadith is that of Malik ibn Huwairis. Malik ibn Huwairis. And the second one is that of Abdullah ibn Umar. So later on I will tell you that as far as the case of Malik ibn Huwairis is concerned, he stayed with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam only for 15 or 17 days. For 15 or 17 days. So maybe he has seen Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he raised his hand when he was going to ruku, and he raised his hand when he came back from ruku. Yes, but we cannot base our mazhab on the practice of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which he did once or twice. We do not have any objection to that practice. Yes, he did it. Yes, he did it, but he did it until his death without abrogation. That is not proven. Malik ibn Huwairis, he narrates only that Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam raised his hand. Yes, we don't have any objection to. He raised his hand, and we say that later on he was not raising his hand. Got it? And the second one is Brother Parvez, that is the hadith of Abdullah ibn Umar. So you will refer to that hadith of Abdullah ibn Umar. As far as the case of narration chain is concerned, narration chain is authentic. Narration chain is authentic. But the text of hadith is confusing. The text of hadith is confusing. Confusing in a sense that Salim, who? Salim, his son. The son of Abdullah ibn Umar, radiyallahu ta'ala an. He is narrating that hadith from Abdullah ibn Umar, mawqoof. What? Mawqoof. That Ibn Umar was raising his hand. What? Ibn Umar was raising. And his student, Nafi', the student of Abdullah ibn Umar, the teacher of Imam Abu Hanifa and Imam Malik, Imam Nafi', when he narrates that hadith from Abdullah ibn Umar, so he said that Ibn Umar told us Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was raising his hands when he was going to ruku and coming back from ruku. So now look, Salim narrates that practice mawqoof, and Nafi narrates that practice marfu. Got it? So that's a confusion. That this practice is marfu, mean the practice of Abdullah ibn Umar, mawqoof, or this practice marfu, the practice of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And look, yes, how committed student Imam Malik was of Imam Nafi. What a committed student. Even though he made wasiyah that bury me close to my Shaykh. Bury me in Baqi, close to. So there is Imam Malik, this is Imam Nafi. Yes, most of you have seen it. That is Imam Malik and this is Imam Nafi. So what a big love Imam Malik had with his teacher, Imam Nafi, rahmatullahi alayhi. But Imam Malik, why he is not practicing the same hadith which his teacher Imam Nafi narrates? Yes, Ibn al-Qasim, the student of Imam Malik, he said that Shaykh, he did not do that practice because of this confusion. He did not take this hadith into consideration because of what? Because of this confusion. That Salim narrates it mawqoof, Imam Nafi narrates it marfu. So because of this confusion, Imam Malik rahmatullahi alayhi was not raising his hands. Got it? So you should write it that Salim, he narrates from his father. That Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he raised his hands to his shoulders. But when he was making ruku or coming back from ruku, he did not do that. Hadith is narrated by Abu Awana. By who? By Abu Awana. By Imam Humaydi. By who? And Imam Humaydi, he has a book known by the name of Mukhtar al-Humaydi. And who is Humaydi? He is the teacher of Imam Bukhari. Imam Humaydi is. And whenever Imam Bukhari has a hadith narrated by someone else and by Imam Humaydi, he is giving priority to Imam Humaydi. And the first ever hadith in the book of Imam Bukhari, he started his book with what a big love he had with this Shaykh. With who? With this Shaykh. Because, as you know, look at me, that now for us, that is very easy to stay with one Shaykh and to learn everything. But at that time, that was very difficult. For one single hadith, they were going to a different Shaykh. Then, another hadith was with another Shaykh in Baghdad. Yes. So they rode their camel or horse, started from Mecca to Baghdad to learn that hadith from another Shaykh. Then somebody told him that there is another Shaykh, he has a hadith in Damascus. Therefrom, as we are running for dollars, they were running for hadith like this. Got it? Or not it? Yahya ibn Ma'in, rahmatullahi alayhi, at that time his father left behind 1 million dinar. What? 1 million dinar. He spent all these 1 million dinar only in the knowledge of hadith. Traveling from here to there and there to there. And later on it is said, Ya subhanallah, yes, that he was going to garbage cans. He was going to what? To garbage can, and to find out the pieces of dates and to eat it. Yes. Imam Bukhari, rahmatullahi alayhi, for a few days he did not show up in class. He did not show up in class. His classmates, they went to him and they asked him that you did not show up in class, you are not missing class, what's wrong with you? He said that actually I had only 2 dresses and these 2 dresses have become too old. Yes, so I am not feeling relaxed sitting with my mates and with my colleagues in that old dress, so that's why I did not show up. So then they collected money and bought him 2-3 dresses. Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, look, Ahmad ibn Hanbal, rahmatullahi alayhi, when he was there in Yemen, looking for the knowledge of hadith, so he was making a zarban. What do they call it? Huh? Yes, we call it belt. Yes, he used to make a zarban and to sell it in bazaar and then coming for the hadith. You know what I'm saying? And he said that when I was coming to Imam Shafi, rahmatullahi alayhi, from Yemen, I was coming to, he says that I did not have anything to eat. So on my way to Medina, I used to do job of porter on my way. And whenever I earned something, so I traveled a little and ate a little. And then, when there was no money, once again I asked someone if there is any porter or labor work, I will do that. This deen is preserved by these ulama with lot of efforts. With lot of efforts. Yes or not? Got it? So anyhow, so now Imam Humaydi, he narrated this hadith. And this hadith is sahih. So the same Abdullah ibn Umar says that Prophet ﷺ, he raised his hand only in the beginning. Number 4. Hadith number 4. Abu Hurairah says, radiyallahu ta'ala an, when Prophet ﷺ entered to his prayer, he raised his hand. When he started his prayer, he raised his hand. Narrated by Abu Dawood and Tirmizi. Number 5. Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu says, Prophet ﷺ was raising his hands in the beginning of his prayer and then not. Number 6. Abu Musa Ash'ari, a well-known Sahabi from Yemen. Abu Musa Ash'ari radiyallahu anhu. He gathered together his people in Yemen. When he went back to Yemen, so he gathered his people and he said, let me show you the wuzu of the Prophet and the prayer of the Prophet. How Prophet ﷺ was making his wuzu and how Prophet ﷺ was making his prayer. So he raised his hand only in the beginning. You should write it. He raised his hand. Abu Musa. And number 7. Abbad ibn Zubair. Abbad ibn Zubair. He said Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam raised his hand in the beginning of prayer. And number 7. Ibn Abbas narrates from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "La turfa'ul aydi illa fi sab'i mawatin." hands may not be raised but only in 7 places. Should write it. Hands may not be raised but only in 7 places. Number 1, in the beginning of prayer. Number 2, when enter to Masjid Haram and look at the house of Allah, so we say Allahu Akbar. And when standing at Safa, when you are making your sa'i, so when we go to Safa, we look at the house of Allah, we say Allahu Akbar. And when standing at Marwa, number 4. And when making wukuf at Arafah, so we are raising our hands. There's not that type of raising, but that is raising. And in Muzdalifah, and also after 2 jamras, first one and second one, not the third one. Because Prophet ﷺ made dua after first and second jamra, but he did not make after third one. So this hadith is narrated by Imam Tabrani. By Imam Tabrani. So now this is the list which proves that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam or Sahaba Kiram, they were raising hands in the beginning of prayer, not when going to ruku or coming back. So inshallah, not next Sunday we are not here. But the following Sunday, inshallah, we will talk about all these riwayat. Then we will go towards those 2 riwayat, which is the base of the madhab of Imam Shafi and Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. One is the riwayat of Abdullah ibn Umar. The second one is the riwayat of Malik ibn Huwairis radiyallahu ta'ala an. So we will talk about those 2 riwayat, and then we will mention that the differences between these imams regarding raising hands at the time of ruku or coming back from ruku. That is not a case of halal and haram, lawful and unlawful. That is the case of good and better, or better and best. So to Imam Shafi and Ahmad ibn Hanbal, this is good to raise hand when going to ruku and coming back. And according to Imam Abu Hanifa and Imam Malik, this is good to raise hand only in the beginning and then not. اللهم ربنا ارحمنا بالقرآن العظيم لما ذكرنا بالقرآن ما نسينا وعلمنا منه ما جهلنا وصلوات الأموت وأنها الليل وأنها النهار فالله خير حافظها.